It's 9:30 p.m. You're in bed, reading a book, getting ready to go to sleep, and you hear your phone buzz, and you grab it, and you see a text that says, "Hey, can you help me with something real quick?"
You're listening to Overwhelmed Working Woman, the podcast that helps you be more calm and more productive by doing less. I'm your host, Michelle Gauthier, a former overwhelmed working woman and current life coach. On this show, we unpack the stress and pressure that today's working woman experiences. And in each episode, you'll get a strategy to bring more calm, ease, and relaxation to your life.
Hi, friend. Thanks for joining today. What would your answer be at 9:30 p.m. when you're just about to go to bed if someone texted you, "Hey, can you help me with something real quick?" If your answer is, "I might hesitate and really not want to, but I would reply, of course, and maybe even get on the phone with someone." In today's episode, here's what we're going to look at. 4 subtle but powerful signs that you're probably stuck in people-pleasing mode. Then we're going to look at why. What are the deeper beliefs that are driving that people-pleasing behavior? And then I'm going to give you a quick tip that is a great first step to get out of that people-pleasing mode. And notice, by the way, that I'm referring to it as the people-pleasing habit or being in people-pleasing mode because I don't like the idea that a person is a people pleaser. It is just a habit. It's a habit that has been learned over time. And the great news about habits is they can be undone. You can get a new habit to become a person who does not people please. Okay, so let's jump into the signs that you might be stuck in people pleasing. Sign number 1 is you say yes before even checking in with yourself. I hear this so much from the women who I work with that yes is truly a default and almost like a placeholder. And when your default answer is yes, even when it costs you your time, your energy, or your peace, you might be in people-pleasing mode. This is reminding me of that comedian who used to say, "You might be a redneck if." This is, "You might be a people pleaser if." The thought behind that action of just saying yes could be something like, if I say no, they'll think I'm selfish. But remember that yes isn't generosity. It's just fear in disguise. You're afraid that someone's going to think you're selfish or not a team player or not fun or whatever it is that you're worrying that they will think about you. Sign number 2 is you only feel valuable when you're helping others. So if you're not doing something or being productive or doing something for someone else, then you feel unimportant. And the thought behind that one that could be driving that behavior is something like, if I'm not useful, I'm not lovable, or if I'm not helping someone, kind of what's left? Who am I without that? But just a reminder that your worth was never meant to depend on how much you do for everyone else, or what your job is, or how much money you make, or any of that stuff. Your worth just is. You're human, you're alive, you're worthy, you're enough. Sign number 3, you avoid saying no because you don't want to disappoint anyone. You go along with plans you don't want, agree to favors you don't have time for just to keep the peace. The thought behind this one might be they'll be upset if I set a boundary or if I say no. But the truth is, anyone who respects you will respect your no. And I find when I'm interacting with people who are not people pleasers and are good at saying no, I trust them so much because I trust if they say yes, they really mean it. And I trust if they say no, that they really mean it too. And I love that. I love the straightforwardness of that. Sign number 4 is you're already overwhelmed, but still saying yes to more. So even when you feel stretched too thin, you keep piling it on. The thought behind this one, I used to have this thought big time, is I should be able to handle it all. We also like to look around at everyone else and perceive that they are doing it all. Let's say you're sitting in the bleachers at a baseball game and there's all these other working moms there and you're like, they're all have it all together and I am just a disaster. So you keep saying yes to things because you think you should be able to handle it all. I used to love to be seen as the girl who could handle it all. Who knows what people were actually thinking about me, but in my mind, I was spending a lot of time trying to get people to think that. That is a recipe for burnout. Let me just tell you that for sure. So if any of those 4 signs or all of those 4 signs resonated with you and you're shaking your head yes, and you're like, oh crap, I'm really doing that, one of those things or all of those things, Let's just look at the why behind it. Like, how did you maybe get here? The first thing is we have been taught, women specifically, have been taught that being nice means being agreeable and selfless and easy and always available. So maybe no one ever sat you down and said that. No one ever did that to me. They didn't sit down and say, you have to be agreeable and have a smile on your face and do what other people want you to do. But society kind of teaches us that. And I think for generations of women, that has been seen as our value, quote unquote. But really, people pleasing isn't kindness. So we think, like I used to say, I know I'm just nice and I don't want to say no to people. I just want to remind you that people pleasing actually isn't kind. And what you're actually trying to do is coming from fear. You're trying to control what someone else thinks about you. So, for example, when I used to be the person who could do it all, I wanted people to think that about me. So I wasn't being nice. I was trying to control the way that they were seeing me so that I felt comfortable. So, of course, it feels hard to say no. Of course, it feels uncomfortable to set boundaries when this is how we were brought up or raised or what society kind of told us to do. But the truth is, people pleasing is just a habit, and all habits can be unlearned. Just like you can learn a new habit, you can unlearn an old bad habit. So, what to do about this? Truly getting out of people pleasing, which is something that I work on with every one of my clients. It is a process to understand what is underneath it and what beliefs, like the belief that I used to have about I have to be the person who does absolutely everything for everyone at all times. Until I changed that core belief, I wasn't able to change my people pleasing behavior. So it really is a process to just figure out what's beneath it and then start practicing new actions, start practicing and learning how to say no. So it's not just a quick, here's one step for you to stop people pleasing. But I will give you one tip that is a great first step in the right direction. And that is anytime someone asks you to do something, start building in the habit just to pause. Just buy yourself enough time to think about it. Say something like, thank you for asking me. I'll have to get back to you. Or if it's something via text, just remember, oh my gosh, I don't have to immediately respond to a text. I can pause and think about it. This week, the only thing that I want you to try to change is just having that pause. Even if you make a pause and you say yes, even when you want to say no later, it's still a step in the right direction. If you're really sick of being a people pleaser and you are ready to start working on it, I have a one-on-one coaching spot open right now. We can get to work, get down to those beliefs and how you were socialized. We can work on changing those and then change your behavior. And before you know it, you will be a person who does not have the people-pleasing habit. DM me if you're interested in that spot. I'd love to help you shift from people-pleasing to powerful self-respect. Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to the Overwhelmed Working Woman podcast. If you want to learn more about my work, head over to my website at michellegothier.com. See you next week.